Good morning, Keep It Crazy family. So I thought I would do a video on the story behind all of my kids' names. So if you're new to my channel, I have 10 kids, and here and there I've done videos on kind of their meanings of their names or how they got their name, but I thought I would put it all together in one video and talk about everybody's name. So I'm so excited about this. Let's get started.
Let's forget the things we can't change, the tears and the shame. We've so much to gain if our hearts beat for the here and the now. We'll make it somehow. What do you say? Look up to the sky and see the light. Feel the air in your lungs, it'll be alright. Every breath that you take means you're in the fight. Let it take you high.
This is Jamie, and she is our oldest. She is 25 years old, and I actually didn't get to name her. She already had her name prior to coming to us. So I was actually able to get a hold of her biological dad, and he is the one that named her, and he explained why in this clip. Hi, how are you?
How are you, Crystal? Fine, how are you?
I'm doing good. I just had a quick question for you. I was wondering, how did you pick Jamie's name?
How did I pick Jamie's name?
Yeah.
Oh, I picked it from the Bionic Woman, from a movie. It was from a movie.
Oh, from a movie.
Yeah, I like that movie. I like that name ever since I named it Jamie.
Oh, that's beautiful. Okay, I was just wondering. I love the name you chose. It's a beautiful name.
Thank you, Crystal. Thank you, man.
Isn't it so sweet? She was named after a movie called The Bionic Woman, and I think that that's such a beautiful name. So Jamie is the only one that has a different last name than the rest of us. So it is Jamie Benitas Ruiz is her full name. This is Alex, and his actual name is Alexander. However, his birth name was Jose. He was previously adopted prior to us adopting him, and they actually chose to change his name, but he actually got to pick his name.
I chose Alexander. I don't know why, I just liked it. They were listing off names and I heard it, I was like, I like that. So I just chose it.
I thought that that was so cool. So I gave him the choice when we were adopting him if he wanted to change it again, and he said no, that he loves it. And so the meaning behind Alex, or Alexander, is defender of man.
Ooh.
And I think that that is so cool because he's super protective of the family, of his sisters, and he is just a defender. So you picked perfectly.
Yay!
Good job. Yay!
I didn't even know that. That's pretty cool.
That is cool. Alexander Patrick Pettit. So their middle names, we did try to do some kind of meaning behind them, or we tried to at least have two with the same middle name. So Aaron and Alex have the same middle name, which is Patrick, and his mom, Aaron's mom, is the one that gave him that name. This is Ariana, and she is 15 years old, and her name has always been Ariana. However, it was spelt differently. It was spelled A-R-I-E-A-N-N-A, and now she changed it to just spell it A-R-I-A-N-A. And she chose to change the spelling of her name when she got adopted, and the meaning of her name is holy, and I think that that's really cool, and it fits her really well. Ariana Lee Pettit. So all of the girls have the middle name Lee, which is a family tradition in my family. My middle name is Lee, and also my mom's middle name is Lee. This is Halie, and she is 15 years old. And when I was pregnant with her, I could not choose a name. I went back and forth, and I just couldn't decide. So when I was about 28 weeks pregnant, I think, somewhere around there, I went and saw a movie with Aaron, and the movie had a girl named Halie in it. And I couldn't even concentrate. I don't even know if it was a good movie or not, to be honest with you. I just had that name in my mind the entire movie. As we were walking out of the movie, I looked at Aaron, I'm like, our baby's name is Halie. And he's like, I love it. So I thought that worked out perfectly that he liked that name too. So the movie, it had Mandy Moore in it and her name was Halie, but I do not remember the name of the movie. I guess it didn't matter to me because the name was perfect and that's all that mattered. So, and her meaning behind her name, it means rock. And she is definitely the rock of our family. Halie Lee Pettit. This is Hannah and she is 13 years old and her birth name was actually Gloria. However, when she was adopted previously, they named her Hannah. And I think they were trying to decide between Hannah and Sophie. And they ended up choosing Hannah. So when we asked her if she wanted to change it, when we were adopting her, she said no, that she loved the name. So I love that name too. And the meaning is actually favor and grace. Hannah Lee Pettit. This is Max, he is 13 years old and he has the coolest story behind his name. So my dad passed away when I was just 2 years old. And I always heard amazing stories about him, how great of a person he was, and just nothing but good things. And so I always knew growing up that if I had a boy, I was gonna name him Max. However, I was really scared that my sisters would have a boy first and that they would take my name. So thankfully they didn't, and I was the first one to have a boy. But then to top it off, he was actually born on my dad's birthday. So it was perfect, and it was not my due date. My due date was actually a week after. So for him to be born on that day was just like perfect timing and everything just fell into place. The meaning of the name Max is greatest, and he truly is the greatest. Max Weston Pettit. So the crazy thing is, Weston, I actually thought that was a family name on my husband's side. So we had picked out that name and Aaron had told me that was his grandpa's middle name. So I absolutely loved it, Max Weston. I felt like it went really, really well together. However, the day before Max was born, I was telling my father-in-law that we were naming him after his dad. And my father-in-law is like, my dad's middle name is Wesley. And I had already fallen in love with Weston. So I was like, sorry, we have to keep it Weston because Max Weston sounds better to me than Max Wesley, though I do like the name Wesley. This is Jake and he is 10 years old and his birth name is actually Ismael. However, we didn't know whether to pronounce it Ismael or Ishmael because we actually heard it pronounced both ways. When he was getting adopted, I asked him if he wanted to change his name or not, and he said, my name's Jake. And I was like, oh, I didn't even give you choices on names, or we didn't even really discuss it. He just knew his name was Jake. And so later on when I asked him, how he came up with that name, he said from Jake and the Neverland Pirates, which the Jake on there was super brave, he was super kind to others, and it just fit Jake perfectly. And I am so glad that you chose that name. You're good at choosing names, huh? Jake Weston Pettit, so we kept Weston for Jake also. This is Logan and he is 7 years old, and to be honest, I never even looked up the meaning behind his name. I just knew I always loved the name Logan, and right when he was born and I looked at him, I just knew that was meant to be his name. So I did recently, actually today, I looked up the meaning of his name and it actually means hollow, which is a cool coincidence because right before him, I was trying to get pregnant, and I ended up having a miscarriage, and I kind of had this hollow place in my heart, and I kind of really struggled with it. So for him to be born and for him to just work out the way that it did and to name him Logan, I just think that it fits him so well. Logan Matthew Pettit, and Matthew came from my father-in-law. That is his middle name. This is Brody, and he is 6 years old, and his name used to be Brian. However, it was spelled kind of weird. It was B-R-Y-N. So a lot of people would mispronounce it and call him Bryn. However, Logan was really little when he first came to us, and Logan would always call him Bro. And then as he was getting closer to adoption, Brody started what everybody was calling him. So it actually ended up just working out, and he always thought his name was Brody, so we absolutely love it. And the meaning behind it actually means brother. And I thought that actually was so cool that that's what Logan was calling him, because he was his brother and he was his best friend. So it just really worked out. Brody Matthew Pettit. All right, this is Aurora. She is 2 years old, and we actually, so Jamie, when she was pregnant, we took her to Disneyland, and when we were walking around Disneyland, Jamie said, I really want to name her after a Disney princess. And so her and I actually both sat down together and went through different princesses, and Aurora is what really stuck out to both of us. So Jamie and I both named Aurora, and she is named after the Disney princess, Sleeping Beauty, and the name behind, or the meaning behind the name is actually goddess. Aurora Lee Pettit. So as you can see, we chose some of our kids' names based on meaning. However, the majority of them were not based on the meaning. They were just based on names that we really liked. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.